So what we're going to get into this afternoon is the upcoming main event, the upcoming fight tonight. It's Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, Part 2. So they first fought back in 2014, back in late September of 2014, which is in UFC years, like at this point, might as well be ancient history. That was 5+ years ago, and both fighters have evolved and changed, and a lot has happened in their careers and in the sport since then. So the first fight, Conor McGregor did win by first round KO. So here we are. Conor, that was a mid-card fight. It wasn't a main event. They fought mid-card, and here we are now. Conor McGregor is a cultural phenomenon who is he's reached past MMA fandom. He is pretty much in the mainstream. He's got his whiskey business. We know all about Conor McGregor. He's one of the most charismatic athlete / entertainers, with sports and entertainment, and just being a media influencer. He moves the needle, as they like to say, and we all know about his persona and what he means to the sport of MMA and to the organization of the UFC. He's a cash cow. He generates millions in pay-per-view buys, and if the pandemic was going on and they didn't have to fight isolated in Abu Dhabi, he would be selling out arenas pretty much no matter who his opponent is. But Dustin Poirier is not just an average opponent. He's a seasoned opponent, and he's got a lot of big names underneath his belt. After Poirier lost to Conor in September of 2014, he went on a 3-fight win streak, all by KO or TKO. Then he lost to Michael Johnson. Then he went on another win streak. He did have a draw with Eddie Alvarez that he later fought him again and TKO'd him in the second round. So, he's lost twice since losing to Conor. In the last 5 years, he's lost twice. That one fight to Michael Johnson after going on a 3-fight win streak. And then, of course, in 2019, he lost to Khabib. But everybody loses to Khabib, so there's no dishonor in that. And he looked good. As long as he lasted in that fight, he looked good. In his last fight, though, this is the concern I have about Poirier. In his last fight, he, that was a 5-round war with Dan Hooker. I mean, they absolutely went at it. It was an entertaining fight, and he won that fight by decision, rightfully so. No one's really contesting his victory in that. But the point is that he took a lot of damage in that fight. And that fight was 6 months ago, roughly. And Conor last fought, as we know. When Conor fights now, it's just basically an extravaganza. He's like a specialty fighter. He comes out for events when he wants to. And Poirier poses a big enough threat, again, at this point, where it's an intriguing matchup, where you might have some people thinking that Poirier's fighting at the higher weight class and all the experience he's had, fighting with Khabib and putting on a good show there, beating Justin Gaethje, beating Anthony Pettis, beating Eddie Alvarez. I mean, he just beat a lot of good fighters since losing to Conor, and just recently beating Hooker, has his game elevated and come up to the level of Conor's. Conor has that special kind of like knockout power, it seems. He gets a lot of people out of there, or he's able to hurt a lot of people. A very dangerous striker, one of the top strikers in the UFC pound for pound. And we have to see if Poirier doesn't get knocked out again by Conor like he did the first time around 5 years ago. So if Poirier can withstand the power or just not take anything too cleanly to where he gets knocked out, will we see another 5-round war like we did against Dan Hooker? But first of all, does he take enough time off to get better? And, last time Conor fought, I got off track. Last time Conor fought, it was a year ago. So Conor fought a year ago against Cowboy and came out unscathed. I think he landed like 21 straight punches unanswered or strikes, including his shoulder. He took literally 0 damage and ended that fight quickly. And that was last January. And the opposite of that would be that Poirier had a rugged battle just 6 months ago with Dan Hooker. So I'd like to see Poirier be able to push it to 5 rounds, make it a classic, make it a war, make it competitive, make it back and forth. But we'll have to wait and see if he can withstand Conor. And is Conor staying sharp? I mean, he looks to be in great condition. Both guys are in great condition. But is he in fighting shape? And is he going to be sharp enough to defeat someone who has been more active in MMA in recent years, which is Dustin Poirier? So we're going to find out in a few hours. Until then, I'm no expert. I just call it how I see it. Bueno.